This week on Arts Insight, we talk to a talented Texas tenor.
It's kind of a combination of country music and classical. When you think about it, I grew up on a cattle ranch listening to mostly country music.
Meet Houston rockers, the Wheel Workers.
The song Chemicals is about unintended consequences of our civilization and some of the damage that can do.
A creative outlet for all types of dancers.
Snag's mission is to provide opportunity for dancers.
And keeping art alive, literally.
People ask me how I got into this, and I say that Willow chose me.
I'm Ernie Manous, and it's time to get Arts Insight. Hello and welcome. Today we're at Miller Outdoor Theater in Herman Park. Miller offers 8 months of professional performances and entertainment, free to all who wish to attend, right here in the heart of Houston. More on the history and their upcoming schedule in just a bit. But first, out of work, looking for a break, 3 friends form a singing group and quickly take the nation by storm with the help of America's Got Talent. J.C. Fisher shares tales with us of the Texas Tenors.
We call ourselves Country Roots Classical Sound. It's kind of a combination of country music and classical. When you think about it, I grew up on a cattle ranch listening to mostly country music. And John grew up in the classical background. His mom's a piano teacher. His dad's a classical musician. And then you have Marcus, which he sings pop and Broadway. So you infuse all those genres together with the country roots and the Texas connection, along with the classical side. It's the Texas Tenors. We try to sing songs that mean a lot to us and that are important to us. We give that to the audience, and then they give us a lot back because of that, because it's honest.
This is America's Got Talent.
My wife and I, we watched America's Got Talent since the beginning. I mean, we watched several years, and I always thought to myself, you know, I love country music. You know, I listen to Garth Brooks and George Strait growing up, Rascal Flatts. But then I went to in college, you listen to more classical, like the 3 tenors, Caruso, Pavarotti. And I loved both styles. And my buddies never could figure out, how do you like country music and then opera? No one does country and classical. So we thought, what would it be like to take 3 of us best friends, send a tape in America's Got Talent, and do John Denver, and then do a little Neapolitan song or like an aria. And that's exactly what we did. And the producers called us, said, we really liked your tape. Can you come? We're having auditions in Houston. Can you come to the convention center and audition for us? You can skip the cattle call. And when we got there, there was over 6,000 people there. And we went right to the assistant producers, sang for them, and then eventually to the producers of America's Got Talent.
I just see that billboard in Las Vegas with the 3 cowboys going.
A lot of people think that we're just 3 good buddies that just went off and started singing, which is true, but we've all been doing this for a long time before that. So we bring a lot to our show, a lot of experience to our show, over 20 years of experience. And I think when people come to the show, they're really surprised.
She's wild as a mink, but sweet as soda pop. I still dream about that.
I think the fact that we're wearing cowboy boots and cowboy hats and singing opera and country is kind of intriguing, but especially overseas, like China. We did a tour in China. We toured the UK. It's internationally, they're very intrigued. You know the favorite show in China is Chuck Norris' Walker Texas Ranger. And so they kind of look at us like, oh, here's our cowboys with hats on, but yet they sing opera, because China and Japan and Korea, they love opera. So it's pretty interesting how we're perceived internationally. We've been on the Billboard charts for the country classical crossover for 19 weeks at this point, and we just hit number 4 and we keep climbing. We've got 4 new original songs that we're producing in Nashville that are just incredible, and we just really feel like we're going to start radio play, and we'll start pretty soon being a band that everyone is familiar with hearing. You know, you got Lady Antebellum, you've got Rascal Flatts, and I think the Texas Tenors will be there before too long. I mean, we're getting close.
The Texas Tenors will be back in town September 11th at the Cullen Theater. For more information, go to thetexastenors.com. From one Texas band to another, local indie band The Wheelworkers recently visited Houston Public Media's radio show, Houston Matters. And our cameras were rolling as they rocked out in the Erie Performance Studio.
My name is Jason Williams, and I play bass.
My name is Stephen Higginbotham. I play guitar and sing.
My name is Craig Wilkins. I play guitar, keyboards, and sing some backup.
My name is Tyson Sheff, and I play the drums.
I started, playing piano and violin, classical music, and I guess the music that sort of brought me to the rock side was kind of the 90s explosion of music, some bands like Nirvana and Soundgarden and so on. But today, just anything really. We like Flaming Lips and a lot of the great music that's out there in the indie rock movement right now.
I get a lot of my kind of guitar inspirations from like Mogwai, who's a post-rock band from Scotland, and actually The Cure. I found the more I play, the more it's subconsciously sounding like somewhere between Mogwai and The Cure, which I'm happy about.
The song Chemicals is about unintended consequences of our civilization and some of the damage that can do at times, and how we sometimes are willfully unaware of those consequences. I teach government and sociology and history and so on, so I tend to think in that space, and so there's often a political or social element for many of the songs, especially on the last album, and then sometimes there's a more personal or introspective sort of
super left-wing, sorry, Tea Partiers.
Too bad.
Chemicals fall softly in the rain, but I cannot find words to ease the pain. Chemicals in each and everything. Take your chemicals now and ease the pain.
I think one thing that I'm starting to see over the past 5 to 10 years in Houston is the development of a pretty cohesive music scene where people are supporting each other. Before I left for Austin, it seemed like it was really disparate and a lot of little cliques, and now I feel like there's a lot of support and a lot of new players that really care about just good music and supporting artists as they develop.
To hear more, go to thewheelworkers.com. Welcome to Miller Outdoor Theater, Houston's home for free theater in the park. Since 1923, Houstonians and visitors alike have been able to enjoy open-air performances right on this spot. And here to tell us tales of the past and to whet our appetites for what is still yet to come this season is Miller's Managing Director, Sissy Siegel-Davis. Hello, Sissy.
Hello, Ernie. How are you?
I am great. I love what you guys have been doing out here, though.
It's more fun. I mean, people say, oh my God, Miller, yeah, I'm the luckiest woman in the world. I get to do what I love every day, and I get to do this in a magnificent park.
You guys have been here since 1923.
1923. Miller is actually named for Jesse Wright Miller, who was a mining engineer and cotton broker. When he died, he left the city a piece of property, They weren't happy with that, but they sold it. With the proceeds from that sale, they bought this 7.5 additional acres of Herman Park, and they built the Miller Memorial Theater. It was a traditional band shell.
Right.
So for 45 years, that's where Houstonians came. He stipulated it should be a place for people to gather. And that is exactly what this place is. But they gather to see extraordinary entertainment.
Right. You guys have an 8-month season.
We do.
Longer than anyone else.
Yes. And it's all free of charge.
That's what I was going to get to next.
We do between 130 and 140 performances each year, usually between third week in March and second week in November. This year, 14 happened to be a bit abbreviated because we had the roof replaced during our off season, and it's fabulous. But we've got the Shakespeare Festival. You know, we have all kinds of performances
You go
out
from
here at Miller
theater to concerts, film screenings.
Dance of all types, you know, from classical ballet to very contemporary. We have Dance of Asian America. Coming up is the soap dance company from Korea, a beautiful contemporary company from there. That's in November. We have a wonderful show called Frogs in November that's perfect for families. And you wouldn't know that they're in costume. You think that you're seeing live animals up on stage. I mean, it's really
big frogs.
It's quite rather large, yes, but quite entertaining.
What do Houstonians like best? What are the things that bring them in the largest in audiences here?
Chinese Golden Dragon acrobats.
Really?
Huge audiences for that. They love it. All kinds of people come out to see that. The Motown show, when Tuts is here, we're doing musicals. Big musicals will get people out here.
It's funny, as people are listening to this, they're probably being overwhelmed by all that you have, but to find out everything that goes on here and when it happens, where do they go?
MillerOutdoorTheater.com, and that's theater with an R-E, Theatre.com. Everything is on the website. It's easy to access. They can also stop by here or write our office. We'll send them a brochure. There's just a lot that goes on, and it's great entertainment, free of charge in a beautiful setting.
Well, thank you for bringing it in and working with them all these years.
Thank you.
Thanks
for coming out here.
Yeah. Up next, Ohio-based dance company Snag is putting a new spin on modern dance and taking it out into the community.
Who is Michael Grooms? Michael Grooms is an entertainer. Michael Grooms is someone that enjoys people, he loves to have fun, and he loves to interact with people, and more importantly, he loves to entertain people.
Michael Grooms is also a dancer and choreographer and founder of Snag Dance Collective, a community-based dance troupe for the community, by the community.
Snag's mission is to provide opportunity for dancers, provide opportunity for people that we think would not get the opportunity otherwise. This could be because maybe they don't have the training, maybe they need to spend more time at home with their children, any number of factors that would preclude them from dancing with another company.
Dance is my passion. It's been a part of my life for my whole life. I love it. I love performing. I love being able to give back what I love to the community.
I got back into dancing because I was feeling unfulfilled. It's definitely an outlet for me, so I can't really picture not doing it because I've been there before and I was unhappy.
Ever since I was little, I was dancing around my house. I just never stopped. It is a huge joy for me, and it's what I love to do.
Part of our mission is to bridge the gap between artists and other artists in the community. So we've created works that allow us to do that, where we can have collaborations with other artists. And another part of our mission is to educate and entertain diverse audiences.
It's so different than anything I've ever done, so it's thrilling for me because I'm used to a stage with lights and wings and an audience right in front of you, but in different venues when you're outside, there's people all around you. We did a piece with the fountains on Monument Street. Sometimes we dance on brick, and that's interesting because it's not a traditional dance floor, so it's just totally different, and it's really thrilling for me.
Our audience is unique and different. We've got primarily people that don't go to the theater watching what we're doing, and it's because of our philosophy of taking it to the people as opposed to the people coming to us to see what we're doing. We want people to feel comfortable, and our street performances are designed to bring audiences to the table and necessarily not have them come to a theater. A lot of times people think in terms of going to a theater, they got to get dressed up, they've got to do all these special things to go to the theater.
Dance should be accessible to everybody. A lot of times you have to pay $50 or $75 or $100 to go see a show, but a lot of people just can't afford it. But just seeing us dance out on the street, like in the Oregon district, you know, they're already there. I think it's cool that it's put in their daily lives rather than, you know, having to dress up and spend all that money and go out.
Street performances aren't the only things that set Snag apart from other local dance companies. The style of dance also strays from the traditional.
We're an adult company, and we focus on a fusion of all types of styles, so we don't stick to just one style of dance. We pretty much do everything. We do ballet, modern, jazz, hip-hop.
To me, contemporary dance pushes the boundaries as well. I think it kind of breaks the rules a little bit. Ballet is all about holding your form. It's very important because it's the foundation in dance, but contemporary dance allows a little more freedom.
Contemporary dance is a form of training that utilizes modern dance, it utilizes ballet, and it utilizes jazz techniques. And what it does is it creates a more diverse dancer, a dancer that can do everything as opposed to a dancer that can specialize in something. They can now do ballet, they can now do modern dance, and they can look comfortable doing it on stage. So it gives more flexibility to choreographers to be able to create with bodies like that. It's really interesting watching this phenomenon occur, which is people are starting to look at dancers as athletes, and as dancers we've always known all along that we're athletes, and the reason we've known is the work that we do. In dance, you have to be able to do both right-handed and left-handed. So you have to be able to turn to your right, you have to be able to do turns to your left, because choreographers, they're going to want you to do both turns on the right and the left, as well as be able to jump on your right and jump on your left. So you have to train both sides of your body to be equal. The athleticism has always been there, and people are now starting to recognize, and dancers.
Snag's Cadillac stage performance is the Urban Nutcracker. The idea started from a desire to diversify the traditional dance audience. How? For starters, replace the classic Nutcracker soundtrack with all popular music.
Where the traditional Nutcracker takes place during a Victorian kind of setting in the 1800s, we now brought it forward to 2000. There's no resemblance to any of the Nutcracker soundtrack, and we did that on purpose because, again, we wanted to get away from the traditional soundtrack and do stuff that people can identify with from what they hear on the radio, in their cars, at the clubs they go to, and places like that. It's part of our seasonal performance series, which features Smagmare, which is like a haunted house nightmare production that takes place on the street.
Contemporary dance really never gets boring. There's really no boundaries. That's why I like it.
In addition to holding full-time jobs, grueling rehearsals, and quarterly performances, these dancers also have a commitment to developing the next dance audience.
We have a program called Dancing Across Dayton. It's our dad program where we like to offer an opportunity to kids who might not take dance on a regular basis. They may have never taken dance or been exposed to it. We reach out to schools in that community, community centers, anywhere we can just try and go and give kids a chance to see what dance is all about. We kind of teach them different fundamental bases of creative movement or just pedestrian movement, things that anybody could do, putting them in different dance sequences, rhythmic patterns, things like that. So it's just a way that we can share some of what we love with the community.
We still need to develop that next audience, and if we don't develop them, then our discipline as dancers, as performing artists, is going to go away because we don't have an audience to watch it anymore. So we have to get in there and work with them younger. And not only that, but stimulate them from a creative perspective, because they may be future dancers.
Celebrating its 10th season, Snag Dance Collective, led by Michael Grooms, does not lack in passion, creativity, nor experimentation.
Sometimes I think that as dancers we tend to think it's more so about our artistic vision and what our voice is, and we forget about the fact that without the people sitting out there in the audience watching us, our artistic vision or voice would be unheard. Nobody would care because it would just be about what we want. So it's a really self-serving moment at that point. I want to entertain people. I want to do something that's going to make them happy and make them feel good. So my choreography tends to revolve around that type of movement.
Michael's so fun. He has great choreography and he definitely brings a lot of joy to the group. He has a great personality and he just is all about dance, so we love him.
I'd rather die on stage. You know, I have no plans of retirement. Retirement is something that I couldn't even fathom doing. I'm a dance until I can't move, and even if I'm in a wheelchair, I'll probably figure out a way of getting out there and doing something.
To learn more, visit smagdance.org. Up next, is it gardening or landscape architecture or art? Bonnie Gail blurs the lines with her signature living structures.
I'm a willow artist. I contain and define space. And as an artist, I use willow, dead willow in the form of baskets, or whether it's live willow in the form of structures. And I started all of this in the 1980s. I started it with a small import business called English Basketry Willows. Since 2004, I've built over 40 living structures, and they are for all sorts of clients, from government agencies to corporations to schools to private clients. And I absolutely adore the work. It's highly creative. There are many methods that I've used to do the living structures. Some involves the fedge method, the living fence, but this living tree one behind me is what I call a poling structure, has a metal substructure to it. These living structures have a great potential to involve the community. For example, several years ago, I built this nearly 50-foot long tunnel in Baltimore on Pier 5, opposite the National Aquarium and Pierce's Park. And that involved the whole community. Every day, community people were coming and helping me. So these structures, whether they're geared for the public to be involved, just the public walking by, it's a wonderful form of community art. I love all the pieces I've made. The pieces I do nowadays tend to have greater complexity to them, and that's also based on my skills as an artist as I develop. I'm now getting larger requests for outdoor living rooms that definitely need a substructure within them, but the substructure does allow me to really do any shape I want. There are tremendous challenges working with the live plant material. It would be much easier if I was working in metal or rock or some inert material. It's wonderful though, but yes, I'm working with the live material. I'm building space with the live material, and I've got to keep that live material around. I've got to keep it alive. I've been featured in House and Garden, Vogue Living, Vogue, Early American Life, Fiber Arts magazines. I've been on the Martha Stewart show, that was April 2010, the PBS series Cultivating Life. It will actually self-root, it will self-graft. I mean, it's absolutely amazing plant material. People ask me how I got into this, and I say that Willow chose me.
For more information, visit EnglishBasketryWillows.com. Arts Insight recently profiled an artist whose works with natural materials is similar to Bonnie Gail's willow work. This is Patrick Doherty's work called Boogie Woogie, and you can experience it firsthand in Herman Park right now. It's just around the corner from Miller Outdoor Theater. And that's a wrap for Arts Insight. Join us again next week for more insightful profiles of artists in Houston and around the country. For all of us here at Houston Public Media, I'm Ernie Manous. Thanks for watching and have a great week.